The latest news, national issues, the political scene, and conversations with prominent personalities. All these firsthand at the forefront. Good morning. I am Attorney Karen Jimeno. Health advocate and popular doctor vlogger Willie Ong has declared just this Monday his senatorial bid in the 2025 midterm elections, despite having been diagnosed with cancer. Amidst a life-threatening health issue, Doc Willie Ong is not one to give up, determined to pursue better health care for Filipinos. Will a third try in the elections be the lucky bid for Doc Willie Ong? Still in Singapore for his chemotherapy, we have senatorial aspirant Doc Willie Ong. Good morning, Doc Willie.
Hi, Attorney Karen. Hello to all your viewers.
Thank you so much, Doc Willie, for your time today. How are you feeling?
Very well. I feel very well.
Well,
if you can see, my color is better. I'm eating better. And healthcare here is really very advanced compared to our country.
Well, we're very happy to see you in high spirits. And you said, yeah, you do look very well po. And you mentioned that the doctors found a tumor or sarcoma in your abdomen. What kind of cancer is this?
It's a big cancer, very large sarcoma. And it's around 16 centimeters by 13 by 12. But that was the initial diagnosis. So I will have a repeat PET scan next week. So let's see how small it goes, what happened to it. But basically, my labs have all been corrected. I was jaundice before. I don't have jaundice anymore. I had so much edema in my previous videos, but now it's all gone. My liver function, kidney function, almost all are normal. So I'm just bearing with the side effects of chemo, but aside from that, I'm feeling very well.
And can you share with us what stage of the cancer it is?
I don't think there's a stage for that. My doctor just said it's sarcoma, it's not operable. So we're doing chemotherapy. I'm also doing targeted cell therapy and many other medicines here that are only available in Singapore and not available in our country.
Doc Willie, when did you discover that you had sarcoma?
Just last month, 1 month ago.
And were you taken by surprise? Did you have symptoms prior to that?
I had symptoms for the past year, but it was just back pain. So I was thinking everybody has back pain. We don't have any history of, having cancer at 60 years old. I'm 60. My dad, my relatives, they have liver cancer maybe at 90 years old. So this is really very unusual. I don't smoke, I don't drink, I follow my own advice. So I'm not sure what that means for the people. Maybe right now they would rather have their vices and fatty foods than follow my advice.
Doc Willie, but in your case, you said you live a very healthy lifestyle and this really came as a surprise. But did the doctors in Singapore give you any idea as to how you would have gotten sarcoma?
Actually, they say it could be genetic, but there's really no specific cause to having a sarcoma. Mm-hmm. There are some cancers that have no cause, like for lung cancer, it's smoking, liver cancer, hepatitis B infection, or maybe being an alcoholic. So this is really quite rare, out of the blue. It's like somebody just put it there. So I was really caught by surprise.
And Doc Willie, how long will you be staying in Singapore for chemotherapy and other treatments?
Chemotherapy until November, probably. End of November, so hopefully by December, I'm back in the Philippines and campaign starts February, so it's still a long time from now.
And you're confident that you can be back here in time to do campaigning in person?
Only God knows. I just pray and follow God's will. But I just have this, Attorney Karen. People are saying, why do you have to run? Why not just enjoy your life, travel, eat good food, take time with your family? I'm not happy doing those things. And I have this unstoppable, it's like an unstoppable force that forces me to do this. So I have to do it at least for our people. I've been a doctor for 30 years. I don't charge patients for the last 20 years. So I've been doing charity work all my life. So this is how I live. Maybe God will give me a month, a year, 10 years, 20 years. Who knows? Nobody knows.
And Doc Willie, you preempted my question. So Doc Lisa, your wife, is filing your certificate of candidacy today. Were you
Yes.
decided to run from
Yes.
since last year? And so we saw the recent surveys where you are in the top 15. I would have thought that that was what pushed you to run. But even prior to that, you were decided to run.
If I did not have the sarcoma, I would not have run. Because I saw no reason in running. But with the sarcoma and everything happening, I think it's like a divine intervention. And you may not believe it, but people with cancer, they see things differently. If you know your time is limited, you see things differently. You become more confident. I'm not sure how you call it. Mas matigas, So I just feel I have to do it. It's like a mission. It's like a mission from God. Other people cannot understand it, but I feel it really inside my bones, especially what is happening in our country. You see all the factions, all the noise, all the trolling everywhere. So all of these really contributed to my decision to run.
And Doc Willie, since you're now a man on a mission, what would be your priority should you make it to Senate?
Anyway, as a senator, I can focus on healthcare. I can do other things. I ran for vice president, so I know all the other issues. But healthcare really is, we are really lacking. We are very, very, very far behind. And I think you need someone with the expertise to really try to solve this problem. I cannot promise that I can solve all these problems, but at least it will be straight talk, walang bola, and especially walang corruption. Walang corruption. The main difference with my campaign, Attorney Karen, and other people's campaign is I do not accept campaign funds. Not even 1 peso or anything. I don't accept campaign funds from anyone. So that distinguishes my campaign from others. I believe this is the source of corruption. Once somebody gives you 1 million, 5 million, 50 million, 100 million, tali ka na eh. That person holds you already. Whether he is a businessman, a mining, or whatever businesses he has, you will compromise. So if I can win without campaign funds, I can really decide which is best, what is the best for our people, and I would not owe anyone anything.
We heard that your budget for this campaign is just 500,000 pesos. Is
Yeah.
that true?
True, yeah. My first campaign, I did not spend anything in 2019. Just social media. I got 8 million, almost 8 million votes. I was number 18. Now I haven't spent anything. I don't have social media ads. I don't have TV ads.
So you
I
really
don't
just rely on vlogging in terms of connecting with the voters.
let's say it's God's power.
And
I think
Doc Willie, are you going to run under Acción Democrático or as an
yes,
independent?
yes,
Okay, so you,
yes,
at least you have a political party to run
yes.
with. And how much support is Dr. Lisa, your wife, providing in your family?
Of course, my whole family helps me in this. They help me with my medical bills. Doc Lisa does she's like the chief of staff. She does everything.
Well, Doc Willie,
So
you also mentioned that you haven't been charging your patients for the past 20 years. And I
yeah.
wondered, is Dr. Lisa the breadwinner in your family?
We don't have a breadwinner because my relatives like me. They just give me money every month. And I don't spend much really. I don't go abroad much. I don't spend much. I don't need anything. Like, how much do you need to live in a year? You just need food, water. What else do you need? I
What, ab-
don't need watches and anything. I just want to help people.
what about
My
your
goal
medical
is just to help
expenses?
people. That's it's as simple as that.
Yes.
And I can help more people if I am in position. So I really want to win this right now because I do not see other politicians. Maybe there are good politicians, but people are frustrated, right? Let's do something different.
And
They
Doc
say,
Willie,
what will you do? Try it. Try me. It
okay,
will be very different.
and Doc Willie, PhilHealth is one of the agencies that
Hmm.
has been ridden with a lot of controversies.
Yeah.
If you become senator, how do you intend to reform or improve PhilHealth?
It's hard to have enemies this early at this stage. But, our field health, you ask the poor people, are they using field health? If a person gets a heart attack, can they use field health? Who will pay for their initial expenses? Field health is only useful if you are hospitalized. But if you have high blood pressure, diabetes, if you need maintenance, you cannot use field health. You have checkup, but it's very limited. So access to healthcare is really not there,
So would
right?
you
Maybe
suggest that
maybe you can help a small minority, but for the majority of Filipinos, they're not using it.
so would you suggest that we do away with PhilHealth because it
No, no,
is an
no. We need
automatic
more funds
deduction
for
from
PhilHealth. We
salaries?
need more benefits for PhilHealth, of course. But we will use it wisely, like say 25 million Filipinos have high blood pressure. Okay? 10 million Filipinos are diabetic. So if we focus on these diseases, the medicines are cheap, we can prevent them from getting a heart attack. Right now, how many people with high blood pressure and diabetes have maintenance medicines? They can't buy their maintenance medicine. They just use some herbal concoction for themselves. That's why they get admitted. That's why our life expectancy in the Philippines is only 70 years old. While in other countries, their life expectancy is how long? 80, 88, 89.
So would you
Singapore,
then
Hong Kong,
legislate
lahat
subsidized preventive medicines or something that would be easier for people to access for the rampant conditions for Filipinos?
again, Attorney Karen.
Would you legislate subsidized maintenance medicines for Filipinos? Or what would be something that would you say is a very significant healthcare legislation that you can introduce?
I have to think about it because they can also do this at the local level. If the mayor is, if he's really hands-on on health, he can really implement this in the local level, which I think is faster. So we'll see how it goes.
And Doc Willie, you mentioned earlier that you really don't spend much, but we can imagine that the cost of your medications and procedures in Singapore would be extensive. How are you able to cope with that?
I have lots of relatives. I have 20 relatives giving me their bank account. So what do I do? So maybe it's because I've helped them all my life for free, and now suddenly I get sick. All these young people, all my nephews, nieces, they pitch in. So I may not be rich financially, but at least I'm rich with friends.
Okay, that's very good to hear. I mean, it's really wonderful to see all the support you're getting from family, and just to see you in very high spirits, it's very inspiring. So, what is Doc Lisa doing right now? We heard that she's on her way to Manila Hotel to file your certificate of candidacy.
Yes, she will be filing my COC around 10:30 to 11 a.m. with my legal counsel, Attorney Gilbert Lauengco.
Who is with us right now, live here at the studio. We'll be speaking with him soon. Doc Willie, what can we expect from just the timeline? You said that you might arrive around February. So in the meantime, will Doc
So
Lisa...
if I'm okay, I'll be back by December. I'll be back by Christmas.
Okay, so sooner. Okay, we hope to see you in person soon. Were you supposed to file your certificate of candidacy yesterday? That's what we heard.
There are some glitches. So we had to redo some papers.
Okay. And not related to feng shui or any luck for filing it today instead?
No.
Okay. And Doc Willie, any words that you want to share, any message that you want to give people?
Wala lang po. Doc Willie Ong lang po. Pag gusto nyo tayo iboto, maraming salamat po. Gagpipilitin natin. Diba? Kailangan natin 2 milagro. Isang milagro. Gagaling tayo. Mukhang gumagaling na naman tayo. Hindi natin masabi. Bahala naman ang Diyos po dyan. Pangalawa, ang pinakamalaking milagro, mananalo tayo ng walang campaign funds. Yung talaga pinakamalaking milagro. Kasi ibang kandidato, they spend 100 million up to billions for this. Ba, ayaw natin na may utang agad tayo sa ibang tao. And hopefully, magawa ko ng maayos, makabigay ako ng magandang tulong sa inyo para at least, di ba, masaya naman ako sa buhay ko at gumanda rin konti ang buhay ninyo. Bali, yung mga kapakanan na may hirap lang po talaga ang iniisip ko. Ako po, wala na pa ako hihingiin. Blessed na ako. Kung hanggang saan ako abutin, blessed na ako. Pero itong mga kababayan natin, kawawa naman kung walang lalaban para sa kanila. Salamat po.
Thank you so much, Doc Willie Ong, and good luck with your procedures today. We hope to have you back here in the Philippines soon.
Okay, I'll visit you in your studio when I get back.
We look forward to that po.
Salamat po.
And up next, Doc Willie Ong's legal counsel will join us live in the studio after the Forefront takes a short break.
This is the Scorecard, where you score the latest news and in-depth views. I'm Anton Rojas, and this is tonight's Roundup. On the Scorecard tonight,
feel like you're somebody who has that desire.
Tell us about your experience. Get ready for a thrilling clash, thrilling hostilities, and keep your eyes on the prize. Sports is our business, and business is our sport. This has been the Scorecard.
10 p.m. on BNC, the Billionario News Channel.
Welcome back at the Forefront. And joining us live is the legal counsel and campaign strategist of Doc Willie Ong, Attorney Gilbert Lauengco. Good morning, Attorney Gilbert.
Good morning, Attorney Karen. Good morning, Panera. Good morning to all of our viewers this lovely morning.
You know, Attorney Gilbert, I was smiling while interviewing Doc Willie because he was very cheerful and he was in very much high spirits. What struck me most, though, was when he said that the decision to run only came after he found out that he had sarcoma, which was a month ago.
Yes.
So, can you tell us, basically, he did not want to run in the upcoming 2025 elections up until August?
Yes. Truthfully, we had a heart-to-heart talk about 3 months ago. Because we've been talking every month since 2022. I asked him, what's our plan? Do we run again for 2025 as originally we planned after the VP run? And he said, I don't think so. He was very hesitant. He said that, I don't think we have the funds. I don't think I can take another round of bashing again because he took a lot of vitriol during the last elections, even some of his friends. It was very public. So he said, I'm really hesitant in going into that ring again. What for? And then a month ago, he called me up. He was already in Singapore. And he told me, Gilbert, I think I've made the decision. I want to run. From my discussion with him, I felt that this sickness really crystallized his thought pattern. He said he went into discernment. Doc Willie came from Xavier's, is Jesuit bred. So, everyone from a Jesuit bred school always do what we call discernment. You think about where you want to go, where you've been. And he told me, I've had time to do a discernment, and I think it's selfish for me not to run. He realized that him being in a hospital in Singapore is a privilege that not many Filipinos have. And his ability to live longer was really because a lot of people were helping him. And he had the resources because a lot of donations were coming in. And then he realized that when you have that sickness, it takes away all your fear and hesitation. So he said that I will just run because I have this vision that I want to do for this country. And we're going to run on faith. Faith that we can do this, faith I can beat this sickness, faith that although a lot of people don't like him, that there will be enough to propel him to his vision of becoming a senator and just doing what he wants to do, which is help. That's all he wanted to do.
How long have you known Doc Willie and the wife, Dr. Lisa?
I met him around 2021 during his vice presidential campaign. I was assigned to be his campaign manager by the then general campaign manager for that campaign, which is my mentor, Lito Banayo. He asked me to handle Doc's campaign. And so that's when we started our professional relationship, and it evolved into a friendship because we have a lot of things in common. We're both introverts. We like cartoons and comic books, and we talk about nerd stuff. So we developed into a friendship, and we normally talk once a week just to talk about life in general.
And how was the reaction of Doc Lisa and the family when Doc Willie Ong said that he wanted to run? Because, just seeing his condition, I guess the first thing that they would think about is his health should be priority.
That's one thing when I spoke with Doc Willie. He always told me that he was blessed with having a very, very supportive wife in Doc Lisa. Normally, if you told your wife that you're sick and you're going to run for Senate, I think there would be a lot of discussion at the very least. But when Doc Willie told Doc Lisa, she just said, whatever you decide, I will support you. And she has been supporting him since that day. And his family came in and said, and we will support you, whatever you decide. So that is the one thing that actually propelled him to have faith and to have this will to run, because his family and many of his friends said, okay, Doc, whatever you want, we'll join you. We'll share your faith. God's will be done wherever we go.
We previously had political strategist Lito Banayo as a guest here at the forefront. And he mentioned that he saw Doc Lisa Ong as a possible dark horse in the senatorial race. God willing that nothing happens to Doc Willie Ong, but should there be an unexpected circumstance that might happen, do you think that Doc Lisa, one, is capable of substituting Doc Willie Ong legally? And is she willing to substitute Doc Willie Ong?
Well, first of all, I would like to put it on record that we never spoke about substitution. It's the farthest thing from our mind because Doc Willie has faith that he will beat this and he will win. No? So on a personal level, we've never discussed this. I've also never discussed this with Doc Lisa. No? I think it would be very awkward to discuss this with Doc Lisa and tell, Doc, what if Doc Willie dies? So it's something that I'd rather not go into. But a lot of people have been telling Doc Willie and Doc Lisa to at least think about it.
Yeah. Well, you're also their campaign strategist.
Yes.
So, as the lawyer, sometimes we even force our clients to face the reality. Look, you have to prepare estate, your will, succession planning. So, are you going to force them or at least convince them to have a backup plan?
Well, there's always a backup plan. But on an intellectual level, as a lawyer, legally it is possible because under the rules that were set out by COMELEC, if anything happens, knock on wood, then there is the possibility of substitution legally until midday of May on the election day itself. It just depends when. So legally it's possible, and all political strategists on an intellectual level always consider that. Backup plans. But as a friend and someone who's as a follower of Doc, we have faith that he will push through and that he will be able to beat this and still run and even win, God's will. But I have to admit also, on an intellectual level, I have considered it, and it is possible. And there is no hindrance. Now, as to whether Doc Lisa is willing or capable, that's not something we've discussed, nor would I care to discuss at this moment because it would be very awkward. But on an academic level, yes.
But you're a campaign strategist. Do you see her capable?
Yes, she's very capable. If ever she would decide, she would be very capable.
And the recent Okta survey on the senatorial balls came out just before the filing of the certificates of candidacy. Did that solidify the decision for Doc Willie Ong to run? Or let's say if Doc Willie Ong did not fare well in that survey, would you have advised him not to pursue a senatorial seat?
Well, as you know, and as my mentor would always say, in all the surveys, senatorial surveys are always very fluid. So as long as you're in the top 15 or 16, you have a chance. And Doc Willie has always been there, hovering around 9 to 12 most, but there are some that put him even on the top 6. If you look at the survey, we're very high in both Luzon and Visayas. It's just Mindanao that have always been our problem. In Luzon and Visayas, it's always top 6, top 7. He just goes down in Mindanao. So at least we know on a data-driven campaign where would focus on that particular aspect. But the surveys were never a part of his decision to run. He saw that he had the possibility of winning, and he understood intellectually that's possible. But as I said, 4 months ago, he said, we need a lot of funds to do that. And he was hesitant. But after he got sick, he said, let's go for it. At least we have a possibility, numbers-wise, and we know what to do and where to go in terms of strategy and tactics.
So what would be your strategy for Mindanao?
Yes, actually, my strategy would be to focus, again, will be limited to social media on Mindanao. And fortunately, there have been people that have called us and volunteered to campaign for in behalf of Willie, and he thanked them without asking for anything. They just want to help. So I think it is one of the reasons why Doc Willie said, I think it's possible, because a lot of people are just coming in and volunteering, not just to help him in his medical expenses, but to help him. Doc, we'll just run a campaign. We won't tell you because you're not going to receive anything from us. We'll just run it on our own, so we'll have groundswell support. And this is a weird campaign because normally most campaigns are centrally run, but this will be run by people on the ground on their own, doing their own things. And hopefully, again, faith, it can be a new strategy or a new type of campaign.
Attorney Gilbert, Doc Willie Ong mentioned earlier that he hasn't been charging his patients for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
So Does that mean that people can just go to him and ask for medical help? Is that what he's been doing?
He's been giving medical advice. Okay. Medical help is like medicines and funding, of course.
And prescriptions. Prescriptions
yeah.
also requires the doctor to shell out money
Yes.
because they get charged taxes for issuing prescriptions.
What he does is he does give advice, especially online and when he meets people. But what he has been doing lately is moving for preventive medicine. And that is actually one of his legislative agenda, is to increase the ability of our government to support preventive medicines and measures to prevent people from getting sick in the first place. So that's testing, preventive maintenance, and medicine. And that's what he's been doing. He was going around until early this year along the province just to preach this. We need to have this. And he's been talking to a lot of legislators, because when he decided not to run, he said, okay, we'll just advocate. So he talked to a lot of legislators to support or to at least sponsor these particular bills.
Mm-mm. And with respect to the ability of Doc Willie Ong to campaign, it would be very physically limited given his health condition. How are you going to address that? Is this going to be more of a social media campaign? With Mindanao, you mentioned that you're going to do a more targeted social media campaign. What would be the style of campaigning?
Well, as many know, when you're running a national campaign, it's 70% air and 30%. 70% air and 30% ground. So yes, it's going to be a social media campaign mostly, plus of course the traditional media with the help of people who really cares. But of course, we cannot escape the fact that he has to go down, and he already knows that, and we've prepared for that. It's just so that in the age of data, we can now pinpoint exactly where he is not that well known or he's not well preferred. And that is where we will go on a data-driven campaign trail so that we will preserve him physically.
He said that he will still be running under Acción Democrático. Will he be joining the sorties of the political party?
Yes. He's been Acción Democrático since 2022. He never left. So, and he already said that if ever he ran, he would support the party because the party essentially has the same principles he has. Okay? It's a ground-up type of party with principles. No? We already spoke with the chairman, and we committed to attend some of the sorties, especially where data says that we need to go there. And I think the chairman understands, Ernest Ramel of Action understands that we will have a limited ground campaign, and he said, no problem.
Doc Willie Ong is very well known for his health advocacies. Did he ever consider running for party list instead? That might be an easier run for him. But then again, you're the campaign strategist, so does that make sense?
Well, yes, we considered it a year ago. But, Panyera, a party list is not really a campaign in the sense that you try to convince people to vote for you because they like you. It's basically either you have already a set group that supports your advocacy, like the riders or the stevedores. You have a group already. Or you organize it. You build it from the ground up, and that requires funds. The third part is if you have a bailiwick, like a regional bailiwick, like most of the winning party lists, they get 80 to 90% of most of their votes because they have a regional bailiwick. And that's where they pound all their votes from, or they get their votes from. We do not have any of those three advantages at that point, and even at this point. So we said, Doc, it might be easier to run a senatorial campaign because you can run it on the air purely and just pick your ground. So we don't need that much funds.
Doc Willie Ong ran in 2022 as the vice presidential candidate for Isko Moreno.
Yes.
This 2025, Isko will be running for mayor of Manila. Is there any coordination or communication between Doc Willie Ong and Isko in terms of helping each other out for the elections?
Yes. Well, first of all, Isko and Doc are friends. You can't help but be friends because when you run a campaign for a year, you stay together, sleep together, so you become friends. So when Yorme found out that Doc is sick, he was one of the first people to visit Doc in Singapore, and they spoke at length about this decision. And Yorme said, okay, Doc, if that's what you want, okay, if you stay in Acción, no problem, we'll support you. So they do speak about it in a private manner as friends. And Yorme said that he will help in any way with this decision. And in turn, Doc said, yes, we will also help Acción, the party, which ISCO is the head of, in whatever capacity we can. There are local candidates there that have already expressed their support.
Did ISCO ever ask Doc Willie Ong if he could be the vice mayor candidate?
No, because ISCO knows that Doc Willie doesn't like running local at this particular point, because his advocacy is much more on a national scale. So it's either party list or senator.
Were you surprised that ISCO asked an Atienza to be his running mate, considering that they practically ran against each other, meaning former Mayor Lito Atienza ran as the vice president for Manny Pacquiao, who also ran for president against Isko Moreno?
Well, in politics, the principal consideration for any run is always mutuality of interest and mutuality of principle. Isko has always said that, if you believe in what I believe, then we will run. But if we have a difference in beliefs already, then he will not hesitate to part ways. But he will remain as friends. But, politically, he will not hesitate to part ways with people if he feels that you're not already in sync insofar as his principles and his advocacies are concerned. So him teaming up with his present vice mayoral candidate is, for me, although I'm not involved that much with them, although I do support them, is just a meeting of the minds, that they understand each other. This is what we want to do for Manila. And so they came together. So I was not really surprised at that particular point.
And Attorney Gilbert, do you have any parting words in terms of what we can expect? So we have Doc Lisa, who's going to file the certificate of candidacy of Doc Willie Ong by this morning. And what else can we expect from Doc Willie Ong?
Well, Doc Willie, again, will be very, very active in social media, despite the consequences, both positive and negative. And he will be going around, again, in a targeted manner, as we said. But mostly, a lot of people are already moving on the ground. They're already doing mini Doc Willie campaigns on their own and campaigning, even before the start of the actual campaign period. So, and Doc Willie has thanked them, and he's willing to do online and even personal, if it's possible for him, to thank these people who have gone out of their way just to help. In terms of campaign, I've already said, this is a faith-based campaign. It might sound hypocritical or high-sounding, but, we're just running because Doc said, I think it's God's will. So we just put our faith on the system, on the people, that more people will like him, and whatever happens, we'll accept.
So your confidence level on a scale of 1 to 10, that Doc Willie is going to make it?
9.
Oh, very good. Yeah. Okay, thank you so much, Attorney Gilbert. It was really a pleasure to have you here. And we wish all the luck for Doc Willie Ong in terms of his medical procedures.
Thank you very much, Attorney Karen Panera. Thank you very much, and thank you for everybody for listening in, and for all those who sent their messages of support. Thank you very much from the bottom of our hearts.
Thank you. Despite his health condition, Doc Willie Ong is exhibiting unmatched resilience. His lifelong dream of better healthcare for Filipinos is his anchor of strength as he battles cancer first and foremost. When we come back, we find out about the latest Taal Volcano eruption from our next guest from Phivolcs. At the forefront, we'll take a short break. Welcome back at the forefront. Taal Volcano erupted yesterday afternoon. Phivolcs expects that Taal will continue its phreatic eruptions in the next few days, but alert level number 1 remains. Joining us is the Supervising Science Research Specialist of DOST, Phivolcs, Dr. Winchelle Sevilla. Good morning, Dr. Winchelle.
Good morning, Attorney, and good morning to our listeners.
Can you give us an update as to what's going on in Taal Volcano?
Okay. Yesterday at around 4:21 p.m., nagkaroon po ng minor phreatomagmatic eruption ng Taal Volcano. Nag-generate po ito ng eruption plume at umabot sa taas na 2.4 kilometers. Yung mga ganito pong mga activities actually ng Taal Volcano, we're expecting them nag-occur. In fact, last 2022, nagkaroon nga po din tayo ng dalawang episodes ng phreatomagmatic eruption. Yung naobserbahan kahapon noong October and March. And then kung titingnan natin sa prior yung mga activities ng Taal Volcano before yung phreatomagmatic kahapon, starting around September 22, meron tayong maliliit, 18 na phreatic eruptions naman. So, aktibo po ang ating vulkan.
Doc, you keep mentioning the phreatic magma eruptions. What does that mean? Is this like close to or is this indicative that there's going to be a major eruption anytime soon?
Okay, so linawin po muna natin yung mga terminologies. Kahapon po ang nag-occur ay minor phreatomagmatic eruption. And then prior to that, nabanggit natin na nagkaroon ng mga maliliit na phreatic eruptions. So ano po ba pagkakaiba ng dalawa? Yung phreatic eruptions or tinatawag nating steam-driven explosions ay nag-occur when water po, pwede pong groundwater or water the surface, is heated by volcanic activity. So yung when water po, once heated, well, it can begins to boil or can suddenly mag-flash into steam causing explosions. So dalawa lang po yung ingredients na kailangan natin dyan para magkaroon ng phreatic explosions. Heat source and water, which pareho pong nasa Taal, present sa Taal. Kung i-recall natin yung kanyang last eruption, yung major eruption niya, yung January 12, 2020, nakita natin na may umakyat na magma galing siya sa southwestern part ng southwestern part ng Taal. And then nandun siya sa ilalim ng Taal and it's been cooling since. So yung pagkukul niya, nagre-release siya ng huge amount of gases like SO2. So siya po yung siya yung responsible doon.
SO2 is sulfur dioxide.
Sulfur dioxide, yes. So yun yung pagka patuloy siyang nagre-release niyan and then pagka nawawalan ng hangin sa isla, nag-accumulate siya and then nag-interact sa surroundings, nag-generate ng fog.
So, pero Dr. Winchelle, for us who are laymen, so that sounds very scientific, what you explained, but ano yung implication sa amin? What are the practical effects of this? Is there now ash around Tagaytay area? Are you going to advise people not to go out in Tagaytay area for now, wear face masks to be safe? What are the practical tips that you can give?
So far po, wala naman tayong nare-record or nai-report sa amin na nagkaroon ng ashfall, which is good. Mga activities ng Taal mostly confined po sa Taal Volcano Island. That's why ang recommendations po natin is strictly po dapat hindi po tayo nagpapapunta sa Volcano Island kasi nga po anytime pwede magkaroon ng phreatic explosion or phreatomagmatic explosion. Basically may involvement na po ng magma sa ilalim. So, yun po yung danger doon. So, pwedeng magkaroon ng ashfall, pero mostly confined po siya sa Volcano Island.
But Dr. Winchelle, when you say that wag muna magpapunta, are you saying that this is only for now or is the phreatic magma eruption something that occurs often but is unpredictable so that would you say the tours that go to Taal Volcano, the volcano itself, should be stopped?
As much as possible po, pagpunta mo sa Volcano Island is, kung gusto po nating makaiwas sa possible na peligro or harm na pwedeng maidulot ng pag-occur ng phreatic explosions anytime, iwasan po natin yan. But I mean, boating around the Taal Lake is okay.
Because I've gone hiking on Taal Volcano before, and I know that up to now that specific activity is still open to tourists, so you'd advise against it.
Yeah, opo.
And can you give us at least an idea in terms of air quality? Is it safe to inhale the air around Tagaytay without wearing a mask?
Safe naman po yan.
Okay, that's good to hear.
For now, yun nga po, although hindi natin maiwasan once na halimbawa, yun nga, nagkaroon ng mahinang pag-ihip ng hangin mismo sa isla or naging calm yung wind doon, minsan yun nga, nag-generate ng fog. And alam naman ng ating mga kababayan na may fog doon kasi suddenly magiging hazy yung lugar, especially yung mga kababayan natin na nakatira sa within the vicinity of the volcano na halos hindi nila makita yung vulkan dahil po hazy na siya. And then na-experience ko po ito personally, maramdaman nyo masakit sa lalamunan
Pag nararamdaman mo na yung ganun, what is your advice to people living near Taal Volcano in the area? Should they wear a mask or what should they do?
Yes, tama po kayo, attorney. No? The best po is, protect ourselves, obviously, and wear face mask. Ganyan. And uminom po ng tubig. Para po kung na-irritate yung kanilang lalamunan.
But no need naman for medical intervention.
Wala naman po sa tingin.
And Dr. Winchelle, can you give us an update on Mount Canlaon?
Taal Volcano po ay still at alert level 2. Ang ibig sabihin lang po niya, nagpapakita ito ng moderate level of unrest. Mataas pa rin po yung nare-record nating mga volcanic earthquakes. Ang taas pa rin po ng binubugan niyang SO2. In fact, measurements po natin last 24 hours ay nasa 9,000 plus tons per day pa rin po. So the key thing po dito is that meron po tayong tinatawag na 4-kilometer permanent danger zone sa Canlaon. So para po maiwasan kung ano man yung maging masamang epekto nito, wag po tayong mag-venture inside the permanent danger zone.
Would you know if there are any inhabitants within the 4-kilometer radius that had to be evacuated?
Ang pagkakaalam ko po ay simula pa lang, naggumawa na ng mga activities po yung mga nakakasakop na local government units and they did strategic evacuations of the communities na nandun po sa 4-kilometer PDC.
Thank you so much, Dr. Winchelle, for all the updates about these two active volcanoes. Taal Volcano just erupted anew yesterday, and together with Phivolcs at the forefront and the BNC team, we'll continue to give you the latest update. Be timely informed, be insightful of the news. Always stay at the forefront. Join us again tomorrow for meaningful conversations that would help you form an objective personal opinion. This is Attorney Karen Jimeno. Thank you for spending your hour with us.
Beauty, health, adventure. This is for you.
Ultimate mind and body experience.
Join Marie Lozano where she uncovers the untold stories and unexpected surprises in the world of lifestyle.
The idea was to give viewers a behind-the-scenes look at how things work and if it's worth the hype. Yeah!
The Lifestyle Lab, Saturday on BNC, the Billionario News Channel.